Hello YouTube, I'm here to tell you about an exciting and brand new series that we're dropping today. It's called Building Repertoires using Chessable. The catch is, I'm going to be learning and playing brand new openings to me, stuff that I've never played in my chess career, and I'm going to be using Chessable to help me along the way. So I'm focusing on the Lifetime Repertoire Jobava London, the Lifetime Repertoire E4 E5, looking at the English 1c4, and of course throwing in a nice gambit there as well, the fearsome Budapest gambit. So that has me covered against e4, has me covered against d4, has me covered against c4, and then with the white pieces I'll be playing a different London than I have ever really played. I've never played the Jobava London seriously before, so although you might be thinking, okay, that's, kind of within your repertoire already, they are very different. Plus, with the white pieces, I didn't want to learn 20 different openings. If I play e4, I have to be ready for everything my opponents can play. So instead, I wanted to keep it nice and simple for this series by playing a system that works against everything. So these are the openings that I'm working through in the series. I went through a phase where I learned all these openings, like went through the quick starter guide, in case you guys sign up to Chessable with the pro membership or grab any of these courses for yourself over the course of the series. We have chessable.com/chessbrah. I'll put that link in the description below as well. You can use it to pick up that pro membership and support us as well. So I can tell you guys a little bit about the format for the series. Basically, I learned these all on my own on stream. Quick starter guide. Kind of took a while. It was very grindy, maybe not that interesting, but I think we've summarized the best parts in this YouTube series. After that, I started a brand new account at 1000 ELO, and from there, I played Blitz games against the pool. After every game, I made sure to reference that game against the Chessable file. So in the Chessable dashboard, let's say in the Jobava London, I have, all my variations that I've studied. I play a Blitz game. I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I remember those 3-4 moves, but after that, my opponent played a move. Did I do the right thing against that? Let me check the Chessable afterwards. So you'll see a lot of study, cross-referencing, and I think these tools are exactly what you can use to learn a brand new opening yourself. So I did my best to simulate what it would be like if you guys picked up a course on Chessable for the first time ever and went through learning it the same way I did. I think that this will be a really insightful and kind of interesting series. I worked my way from 1000, not just up to 2000, but all the way up to basically my regular Blitz rating. And this is to showcase even losses, tough games that I played. I think it's an important part of the series and of the learning process as well. You'll see in this series, even against low-rated players, just how uncomfortable even I am playing e4, e5. Like I've never played it in a tournament game. And later on in this series, you'll also see some really cool examples of when I actually took these brand new openings and played them in a classical FIDE event. So all in all, it was a really fun experience. I actually enjoyed a little bit the fun of getting back into chess and learning openings. Don't think it'll be for any serious competition myself, but I really felt good about the Chessable training, and I think that this process could work for you guys as well. So my goal with this series is, yes, to do another speedrun series that you guys can enjoy, but also taking after that building habits that we released. Of course, if you haven't seen that, that's a reminder to you to go check it out on our channel. But this one's called Building Repertoires. It's using Chessable, and I really hope that you enjoy how we formatted it here, but there's lots of episodes to come. So without further ado, let's get you straight into the video, and you'll see my London, my e4, e5. You might see a few English games, although it's quite rare, and of course the Budapest gambit against d4. So got lots of fun new openings. Let's see how they worked out for me. I love this series right now. We're just getting white every single game. This is a great series. All right, d4, c5. This actually is in the course. And for sure the point is to play d5. b6. Oh, and only on move 2. You're not in the course anymore, bud. Well, let's play it like any normal person would. We can definitely play with c4, but I think most of the course has knight c3 happening, so I'm going to stick with that. e6, we should be all right. Ooh, took. Knight takes makes a lot of sense here. Definitely don't want to take it. So he's probably going to develop a knight or two. And we want to keep chess really simple here. Knight f3, castle. Ooh. Knight here, anybody? Knight here. I think moments like this are where you hit them with moves like that. Just to rustle his jimmies. We're still, we're hitting your rook there, bud. Wow. So these guys are 1,000 after all. You see that? He didn't bite. First of all, he didn't get mated, but he also didn't drop his rook or anything. So impressive all around. That's why these guys are the real deal. A5 is launching knight b4 at me. So we do need to be careful of that. I think for the moment, I'm just going to take that one precautionary move and bring this piece over. And that might be it. That might be all the defense I have time for. Let's bring our bishop here. It also makes a very real threat of queen takes pawn. Go b3. I think also just queen takes is pretty nice. Pretty nice way to do it, but let's keep it more calm with the move b3. That's going to be a piece for me. I'll take it. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate it, Fred. Let's just bring those pieces to the middle here. Look to open the position up. b4 doesn't do that much. I can move the bishop, but instead we're actually just going to keep powering forward. Okay. Maybe letting this queen out is not exactly what we want to do. Or maybe it is really exactly what we want to do. Come out, buddy. Whoa! Rook a4. An incredible move. You know, it's such a remarkable move that I wonder if queen takes this rook is actually the better move instead of queen takes the free rook. I don't think it was in the course. I have to check the course again, but I don't think it's in there. Now, he did well. I think he was in the course for about one move here with the move c5. After d5, though, and first of all, d4, c5 is definitely not a tremendous opening. I think black's already just a little bit worse here. Just don't have any claim to the central squares. Not at all. e4, knight c3, knight f3, castle. That's the easy plan. We tried to sauce him up with bishop h6. He was wise to that, so I credit him there. I think he definitely did expect me after rook a4 to just somehow magically take it and lose my king and lose the game. as if that was possible. Shady Graves, thanks to the 22 months. Dark Square Knight, Prime sub, and it's a brand new one. Welcome, Dark Square Knight. Northrop, 20 months with Prime. Q, 27 months with Prime. K for Aman, 9 months. Welcome, buddy. All right, we haven't seen anything that we really need to take a look at yet. We also haven't gotten the black pieces. What do you guys think? Is it time? I mean, it's kind of like you flip a coin 50-50 that it's heads or tails. And if you get heads, the next time that you flip it, you're not really more expected to get tails, although it feels like you are. Now, chess.com, I'm pretty sure has an actual like forced balance where they need to give me the black pieces soon, but we'll see. We're about to find out. Nope. We're playing white every game here. I guess this is a great way to practice an opening. All right. So we got this. Let's play bishop f4, bishop f5. So it might transpose after e3, knight f6. And now we actually are in what I believe is one of the main lines, or at least one of the lines in the course. So let's play it. g4, bishop back, h4. Pretty obvious idea, trapping the bishop. That move is not going to let me. We're going to play g5, knight d7, as opposed to knight g8 and maybe going to the e6 square. Let's go here. Ooh, that's a frisky move, as they say. I think my opponent's intentions are clear here. Pawn to e5, which I don't think I'm all that upset about. Should we take? I think taking is nice because it just ensures that there's some open lines. Even though it ooh, I was thinking pawn takes. Knight takes means there's no e5 anymore. That feels slightly uncomfortable for him. Let's just castle. My queen can slide over to one of these two squares. The knight is restricted from f6, so I'm not too bothered by it. Knight here, again, could be taken. Knight b4. I think knight b4 is annoying enough. But instead of taking this knight, I actually think I want to get rid of this bishop. So I'm actually going to play bishop d3 and try to get my own queen into the g6 square. And then we can boot his knight out with a3. Don't think he has anything better to do than just back the piece up. Let's get our queen out of there. Let's get our queen out of there. Let's get our queen out of there. Now you might be asking yourself, why did Aman play queen g2 instead of taking the rook? Ask yourself this. After bishop takes rook, my opponent would probably play pawn takes. Okay. I made a move. They made a move. After queen g2, did my opponent make a move? Oh, so you're saying that I found the quickest way to end the game? Oh, so you're saying I found the best move, queen g2. Got it. Just making sure we're on the same page. Got it. Understood. Understood. Okay. We understand each other. Here we go. Let's learn it. We haven't done it yet. What we have done is we've looked at knight to g8. So now that we've seen a new variation that is in the course, this is how I recommend to study. So let's learn our new variation. Let's see it. And this is not what I did, by the way. I didn't go knight e2. So this is like a perfect example of, of learning. I played queen d2. And why did I play queen d2? Because guess what? When the knight goes to g8, queen d2 is the move. So I was just like, oh, okay, I'll just do that then. But no, that's in fact not the move here. White already has an advantage. The downside of h5 is that if the knight is able to come to f4 and capture on g6, black's structure will be in ruins. Wow. Oof. Well, I can tell you guys, I left this lesson with so much new knowledge. I don't know what to do with it. There's so much we covered here. I know that might be a lot to remember, but hopefully you can do your best. All right, we got the black pieces for the first time in the course. E4, we're going to play E5. Let's see if our new E4, E5 holds up to the test of the 1000s. This legitimately is still going to be tough for me to remember. Okay, so I think when the knights come out here, we just bring them all to the table. Bishop B5. Now, if I'm not mistaken here, after bishop B5, I think we want to go here. Takes. I think we take this way. So I think we play the like symmetrical when people do that. So knight takes here. I can't really immediately win this pawn because of stuff like that. But I could do this maybe with queen d4 after. Or, of course, taking here and not taking right away, but something like queen e7 is always always available. So I think queen e7 is good enough here. It'll get protected, and then the e-pawn should be mine for the taking. But yeah, taking queen d4 is another way to do it. Takes. Yeah, probably have to do this one. It's tempting to go here, but castles is a little... Let's take. And we can castle as well. Bishop e3 is playable, but, you know, you start to second guess moves like this, understandably. So I think this is maybe more natural, and there's no way we can be worse in position like this. What you'll start to see me do, first of all, I think we should definitely displace the king here. Then, although castling is tempting, I'm actually going to play this one. Pressuring the c2 pawn, which is a little bit of a weakness. Now I'll castle so that he can't really back the king up. There we go. Bishop g5. So we're not really out of the woods yet. Still some slight problems with the position. The rook is going to come into e7. We're up a pawn, but we need to prove our edge here. Let's go knight d5 into the center. Seems fine there. Rook d1 will definitely take that. Wow, I actually just thought of a move. Knight here, king e2. Just thought of that. The rook actually had no squares in any direction. Trying to think what the best move would be there, and it would probably be knight f4 to save my rook. That's amazing. King e2, trapping the d3 rook. That's amazing. That's amazing. What a move. So rarely do you win a pawn and then centralize a piece and like lose material for it. Maybe he, I mean, like, why is he all of a sudden pausing? It's as if he's just in a state of shock for missing that move previously. You know? Like, why is he all of a sudden not moving? He can't believe it. His one opportunity. Poor guy. He's really taken that move. He's really taken that move pretty hard. He's an honest guy, you know. He had his chance, he didn't take it. He said, "You know what? If I can't take advantage of my chances when they're presented to me, then I don't deserve this win." Exactly. He feels a deep sense of regret. He's going to be a strong player one day. He moves with 7 seconds left, and it's rook takes knight. You know, this is a gentleman's resignation. He's effectively offering his hand across the table and saying, "I resign. You beat me. Okay?" He's putting some moves together. It looks like he's going to be getting the pre-moves in. Okay, so he made sure to trap his own bishop. Let's keep the king trapped in there. GG to hash G. So since I actually don't remember, and I mean this, like when I talk about not remembering the moves, it's not a joke. I actually don't. So let's go to our E45 course and see. After knight F3, we play knight C6. Let's flip the board. Knight C3, so we play knight F6. At least I got one move correct. Bishop B5, we play bishop B4. And I don't think we really looked at bishop C6. That was one move we didn't check. Just because, remember, with these courses, I've learned the courses, but nowhere near close to all of them. I've only learned the main lines, the most popular lines, and I'm naturally going to play games and get positions from, well, I'm going to get positions I've never seen before. That's just how it works. So bishop C6, let's find this in our course now. Bishop C6, DC6, knight takes E5. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Are you telling me? Oh, are you telling me that I'm coming up with coarse moves without even, oh, whoa. Oh, I'm a natural. I'm an E4, E5 genius. Oh, look at me go. Let's continue back to our white pieces. And so, gonna hit him with D4, D5, knight C3, bishop F5. Well, I think it's time to get the bishop out. I actually don't think we've precisely seen bishop here on that exact move. I'm not sure. I actually feel like we have seen this, and bishop F4 is wrong. I think it's F3. So I think we're gonna get a what's it called? A ruler. We're gonna get the ruler from the teacher after this game. I was trying to remember if we'd seen it before, and if we haven't, then I just default to this. But I think we actually did see one line of this. It was F3, G4, and G5. But now with our bishop here, we need to reinvent things a little bit. Okay. I don't know if we want to immediately play for that. I'm just going to go E3. Knight B4 is not as scary for me because I can just go rook C1 and kick the knight out. So I'm just going to go here. Now I think I think this move makes some sense. H6. I'm going to try to stick to some themes. So even though we haven't played the opening, let's say, properly, I think we've stuck to some main themes. Queen here. If queen d7, then this move will actually win the game. c6, this move will be quite good. But there is a knight b4 move happening. And it's not the easiest to deal with, I have to say. Just looks a little annoying. So in terms of like maybe getting a very stable position, I'm just going to go knight e2. But I definitely think queen b5 is the maybe best and most ambitious move. But I'm going to try to stick to some of the course ideas and just castle and play g5. Just to practice some of the main stuff we're going to be looking for. Oof. He's getting ready to cover it. Unfortunately, it may be too tough to resist now. Like I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. So check. It's a fork. The only way out of the fork is this move, but this move is very directly going to be losing either a pawn or, in this case, perhaps more than a pawn. Okay, I wasn't sure if he was going to spot knight there. We have to get our queen out. I think this is going to be the way to do it. We'll definitely see castle. So he's castling into this, which looks crazy. Let's get knight a4. Could also just bring the knight back. Let's put the knight here. And then queen c3, queen c5. Knight a4 to stop c5 seems pretty normal. Notice how this knight's covering g3. That's something that I don't really talk about. But it's there. It's happening. Okay, queen here. Queen d3, there is queen b4 check. So I'll probably look to avoid that. Let's just go here. Queen c5 would offer a trade, but technically he wouldn't be forced to oblige there. Let's go g5. Yeah, we want to castle that way, but okay, knight here. Okay, let's get our pawns up. Let's support that. Bring this knight in. This knight on e2 could be doing a little bit more. Knight on a3, I'm not sure what it's up to exactly. Time to reposition this knight. This is actually a pretty good move, I would say. Let's castle and go all in on that knight. That's the plan. Let's bring the pieces over. The heavy pieces are entering. The heavy pieces are entering. GG. Then the slightly more interesting finish would have been f5 because we would have had a chance to sack our queen. GG. Okay. Got the black pieces. e4 again. I'm going with the trusty e5. Let's see if we can remember stuff. Whoa. Okay. So c3. Well, I think that the move we want to do is knight f6. We'll wait and see how white plays. d3. Okay. So we haven't really looked at the move d3, I don't think. But I have to say, after seeing it, it's hard for me to not just play d5, and I feel like we're just better. Knight takes might be good, but I'm actually going to take with the queen and like play bishop f5 and long castle and immediately ask questions to my opponent. There's no knight coming to c3, which is why I feel a little bit more justified playing this way. So bishop here, d4. Do we mind that? I don't think we do. Knight g4 would be another option. We want a long castle, I think. An interesting move. Castle c4, we can maybe throw check in. Should be fine. This move, as you can imagine, is particularly poor because of e4. Here, well, we have a few things we can try. This one, I mean, I can just move the queen, to be honest, anywhere on the board, and that will be sufficient. Queen here loses immediately, and queen here, that'll also be not great. So how do we want to play? Like this. Good place to start. Couple threats. Bishop here. I think it's time to cash in. Again, we could like keep playing we could keep playing these moves, which really doesn't look too bad. So that's what I'm kind of debating here. Bishop b4. Yeah. I think it's just better. Like my pieces develop. And remember, I'm always going to be taking this. d4 will fall at the end. The e file will be open. Oh, man. And knight c3 is not an option because your queen is hit now. So you have to move this queen or take the bishop. Knight takes actually does make a threat there. But I think if I go here, knight c2, king move, takes, white could save the knight. So I truly believe that it'll be easier if we don't do that. So I'm going to take this way and then take the knight and just say, this is easier, much easier. So my opponent should be a little careful because I think if, doesn't trade the queens, then I guess we can go here. Then I probably wouldn't let him, basically. I'd like to go to f4 with this knight. This is a really good square because now there's going to be checkmate ideas on the back rank. We can start to let's take. So f3 will probably bring the rook into the second rank, start to invade a little bit. This move doesn't look like much, but I want to stop rook g1, rook g4 to get rid of my knight. And once we get the rook here, we'll have some forced mates here. Rook d1 will get mated, and otherwise check, knight d3, and rook there will also be made. But I feel bad not letting the knight get its shine, so we'll let him pick. Which checkmate are you going to let me do? GG. GG. Well, let's have a look. I think it's a good way to study, taking the games you've just played and cross-referencing. Okay, d3. As you can see, it is literally not in the course. Obviously, d4 needs to be covered extensively. And why would you basically play c3 and not play d3? Like how how could that be your plan? Right? c3 to play d4 and d3 not even covered. So after d3, I'm assuming it's d5. Let's have a look. Yeah, d5 is already a serious position. And after takes, just for my own curiosity, yeah, queen takes does seem to be a pretty good move. Knight takes is fantastic, but queen takes, I like a lot. Okay, here we go. Another e4 game. Geez, I guess you don't even need to have an answer against d4. e4, e5. Okay. Bishop c4. So we haven't seen this one so far. I'm going to play knight f6. It would be crazy if my opponent didn't play knight g5. We are at 1,000 ELO. And we are definitely going to get this line. Okay. Takes here. So we got some theory on the way. c6. Takes. Pawn takes. Queen f3. So he's saying, look, takes, takes. So we got a 1,000 that knows a thing or two here. So I'm pretty sure our move was bishop e7. Allowing this capture, which looks crazy. But then, after the capture, we just play bishop d7 and castle. Okay, let's have a look here. Knight e4. So definitely if we take, takes, the queen can still grab the rook on a8, so we're not going to get tempted into that. Takes here maybe doesn't look tremendous as well. So I think castling makes a lot of sense. I don't think we've looked at this line. I'm just going to castle. It looks reasonable. If I had to guess what the idea after knight here is, my feeling is knight d5 and f5 without knowing too much about the position. So that's kind of where my head's at. Is knight d5 is kind of like a normal type of move in these positions in other lines that we've done. So I'm gonna hope that it's an idea here as well. Let's chase the knight. This is pretty new for me. I'm not gonna lie. So I hope what we're doing is making sense. I'm gonna try to harass this queen. I wish we could play this. We can't. We do have knight f4. Queen e3 could be the reaction. I think we're starting to gain a lot of time here. I'd love to play this, love to play that, but not sure we can. Let's do this for the moment. I actually I think I preferred bishop d6. In my head, I actually forgot that queen c5 was possible. Not that it's a amazing move, but I think it's a little uncomfortable. Knight a3. Unfortunately, this and f4 doesn't quite work because of g4 from what I can see. But it's still a pretty strong idea. It's so close to working. I'm gonna play this. I like stopping b4 and stopping queen c5. So a couple moves. A couple moves instead of playing what probably was a very natural and good one. Yeah, some weird resistance to the move knight g2 there. I think we have to just like go all in there with the rook lift. Not my favorite move, but are we not trapping this? remember, there's none of this. Bishop b3 is covered, although it doesn't even need to be. Knight g2 was weird. It was weird for me to set this up and then only look to win the queen when knight g2 was at least playable. Queen back. I think we're gonna have to set up the set up the checkmate here. Wow, he saw it. This guy's incredible. It's amazing. Not gonna take that. I'm all about this mate here. Surely he has to miss something. Surely he has to miss some mate. He can't possibly defend everything. That'd be too crazy. Too impressive. Good game. Good game. Man, that was impressive. You saw that checkmate idea? Rook f6. I was going to sack the rook, but no. He was wise to my shenanigans. We still have not seen any d4, but another e4, e5 game. d4. Okay, we got a scotch here. Knight takes, and we get to play our scotch line, which I believe is queen to f6. Knight takes. Now, this is actually an interesting situation because pawn takes is so clearly a good move. So clearly. But b takes, though. B takes, though. The interesting thing about the course we're doing is, I think this is the plan. Taking with the b pawn. Fun. Something different. Queen f3. Don't really want to take. Queen e2. Can't remember after queen e2 if there's some kind of oh, bishop c5. Yeah, you're right. Maybe it was bishop c5. Maybe it was bishop c5. To be honest, I mean, bishop c5, queen f3, bc6 is exactly the line. So I guess we would kind of end up transposing. But I agree. It's probably ever so slightly more accurate. Only slightly. Bishop e3. Makes sense. Maybe bishop d4 after queen e2 would be a good move. That it feels like that's a concept that we've seen in the past. But nevertheless, we're going to take and develop our knight here. This can't be bad. I know that I'm going to have rook b8 with some big time pressure in the future. Okay, let's take control of some squares here. Queen f4 to trade queens is not unreasonable. Let's trade these bishops. That's a mature move right there. I think we're only slightly worse. Okay, now I think we're much better. That's unfortunate for him. These double pawns are just nasty. Just nasty. My knight has this great e5 square. His knight can't really move. I'm going to take with the rook just to keep the pressure on that pawn. Wouldn't be crazy to take with this pawn, though. Let's play h5, g6. Like rook f5 gets met nicely by g6. Rook b8, open file, can't complain. Lots of stuff. Loose. Oops. Really not a poor game at all from my opponent. A5 is always a nice move to do just to get rid of the last weakness. We can play rook e3 later. Attack the knight. e5, we can actually take it. And we have an escape square, so back, back. I'm going to take the slow route back to checkmate him. GG. Tepa Winnipeg. And Winnipeg is a place in Canada. Castles. That's right, Lost Moose. Queen e7 novelty. So castles, there was f2 pawn hanging. So white had to play this, and then we go back and we bring the knight out. I mean, this is pretty easy to understand. Finally, the bishop has to join. And f6. We get the white pieces, which means we're going to be playing d4. Okay, so I think we have seen this before. Knight here. e3 looks normal, but I'm seeing this, and I believe that we immediately want to go for knight b5. Trying to make sure we get the moves right. So immediate threat, knight a6 covers it. Now I think we want to go 3. So c6 will come back. c5 we are really, really happy to see. Now, I don't actually think we've seen this move officially, but I can just tell you that generally speaking, I'm very happy to see it. Now the knight stays there forever. I'm actually just going to play c3. I don't know if this is exactly how it's recommended to play against it, but now you can basically play the best of both worlds. You have your regular London setup here. Takes is just a disaster for black now. Be nice if we could play this and just win outright. It's like playing knight here. He has knight b8, which guards it. He's never going to be surviving here, but it's annoying that he's even allowed to keep fighting. Okay, so let's go here, of course. Whoa. Okay, he did not see the retreating move, knight b8. Sad for him. Sad for Buddy here. Trying to see if there's anything too interesting to play. Bishop takes, f5 seems a little dicey, so we'll just keep it calm and controlled and win a piece. And threaten to take the bishop as well. F6. So he is kind of like trapping our knight in there. There are definitely a lot of moves to consider here. I'm very interested in, the most forcing options. I'm gonna go here anyway. Yeah, just sucker him right in. Is this the best move? No, not even close to the best move. But is it the move that's going to work? That's what you have to ask yourself. Keep things nice and simple. Castle. I'm going to try to open as many lines as possible. Okay, queen can invade from the side. The rooks can make it to the middle. He's going to be hit from all fronts here. And I think we just gang up on this pawn. GG. GG. So, here, after knight b5, we looked a lot at bishop b4. Let's check. Exactly that position. Knight c3. So knight b5, right? Knight a6, which we haven't looked at too much, but we've covered. E3, and you'll notice that the move c5 isn't given, and this time I truly understand it. Anytime that you play this knight b5 thing and your opponent doesn't remove your knight, you have a huge advantage. Huge. Like, it's really, really strong. To the point where if black plays c5 here, and you play knight b5, and they have to play knight a6, it's really good for white. So for black to do it to themselves, this is just a terrible feeling. So c3, and it's important to know this setup for this opening. With my London background, luckily I already do, because there are a lot of lines that transpose. However, just the main concept here is knight c7 is going to fork the king and rook, but even if the king is castled, knight c7 will trap the rook. Trap it if the knight's on b8. So think of this knight as unable to move to b8 because of this move. All the time that will trap it, right? Okay. Understand? So the knight is stuck guarding this square. Now, can the knight move to this square to challenge the knight? No. Can the knight move to this square to get out of the way and then move the rook? No. So this knight is permanently trapped on a6. It can't move at all. It's important we keep our bishop here. So moves like h3 are going to be key. Right now, knight h5 is stopped. But notice how black also can't challenge the diagonal. So the best you could do is maybe play bishop here and take, which is what he did, but then he ran into other problems. And we can always support our knight with a4. You made it to the end of yet another episode. I hope that this was really informative, letting you guys know how to study chess, how to improve at it, and how to use Chessable as a tool to help do so. At the end of the day, I think it's one of the best ways that you can learn openings, and I think that this series is a pretty good example of that. So if you liked those courses that I was working through, or if you wanted to pick up different ones more specific to your repertoire, make sure to use chessable.com/chessbrah if you're going to upgrade to a pro membership. That's all from me, and we'll see you in the next episode.